We are joined by the one and only head coach of the Notre Dame women's basketball team, Niele Ivey. Coach, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Good to see you as always. We're going to be seeing more of each other here coming up pretty soon, of course, because the exhibition game for you is next Thursday, 1 week from today, as we speak, October 30th against Purdue Northwest. And then you'll fire up the regular season November 5th when Fairleigh Dickinson comes to town. This is, of course, season number 6 for you coming up here as head coach at your alma mater. What gets you most excited getting ready for a season?
Honestly, just again, I have so much gratitude for being in this position. No matter if it's my first year or 6 years, I just love this place and I love this group, this program. It means so much to me. So just coming into work, seeing the Golden Dome, coming into this facility, either this arena or our practice facility, seeing all the Final Fours, it's so much motivation and inspiration that comes from being a part of this program. And I just love stepping on this campus.
If you could go back to year one before you ever coached a game, what advice would you give yourself to year one? No, clean slate, Niele Ivey, I guess.
um, I would say give yourself grace. There's a lot of learning, especially year one. It was in the pandemic.
Yeah.
Just again, just continue with knowing who you are, but give yourself grace as you're navigating a completely new space. Is what I probably would tell that person five years ago.
Man, amazing. And so when you look at now with all this experience that you've got as a head coach now through 5 years, do you think you're more different as a coach, or is just kind of the landscape of the game more different right now?
I think it's both. I think I've adjusted to the different makeups of the team, and just learning again, like having 5 years under my belt. I've learned a lot from experiences, either in-game experiences, teaching, bringing new ideas in, and just growing as a coach. Confidence growing. Every part of my coaching personality has really grown, and then just I think the landscape has changed everything. From the pandemic to the NIL to transfer portal. So knowing that it's a different generation. I've gone through a whole class, a class of four that has been with me from the beginning, and so kind of adjusting to the new era of talent. Talent is different, and the landscape is different. So I feel like I've learned a lot from those experiences.
You talked about that in-game coaching, and I mean, do you think it maybe kind of gets taken for granted? Because I mean, obviously you come up, you're a player, you know the game, you're sitting on the bench as an assistant coach,
Yes.
and you're in the game. But how different is it when you're actually the one wearing the crown and you've got to actually make those decisions, as they come rapid fire over the course of a game?
Absolutely. They say that couple inches is so massive. As far as like you said, just being the decision maker, having all the power, and making the biggest decisions that affect the games. So yeah, I was watched in admiration to Coach McGraw and the way that she handled everything that came along her way.
Sure.
But with games, with the things that she had to deal with off the court, and knowing that it's almost like 80% everything else and 20% basketball. I learned that as well. But that seat is hot. That seat, this head coaching chair is definitely hot. So
For sure.
I think just the adjustment of knowing that you have, like you mentioned, having the crown. There's so many people that are relying on you to make the right decision, and that's just a weight to carry. But I'm blessed and grateful to carry it.
I filled out my preseason All ACC ballot a couple of weeks ago, and shocker, spoiler alert, Hannah Hidalgo was at the top of my ballot, but I was really kind of struck by just the turnover across the conference from last year to this, and I don't know, like how much you've really looked at it so far. Is this maybe the most turnover from one season to the next that you can remember?
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many new faces. There is in the ACC, so there's definitely a lot of new faces. There was a lot of movement, and rosters have changed a lot. So it definitely feels like kind of a brand new ACC.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's going to be incredible because I think there's still a lot of parity within our league, but definitely a lot of change that's happened in the off season.
Well, and obviously Hannah Hidalgo is still here on your team, back for her junior season now at Notre Dame, the reigning ACC Player of the Year. But of course, a lot different looking team around Hannah for you compared to
Yes.
last year, compared to some turnover. So for her specifically, how does that maybe change what you need / expect from Hannah going into year 3 here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited for her. She's come off a really incredible summer. She's worked really hard. Had a chance to play for USA Basketball, the Mara Cup, and won the gold. And that was a great experience for her. She's done so well with USA Basketball. She's carried all those experiences with her. She's a lot stronger as far as in her entire game. But just knowing that she has that maturity level this year, leading us, I think leadership is like the biggest thing that people are going to recognize. When you have 2 years under your belt, she's been in the fire for the last 2 years, and now coming, like you mentioned, preseason All-American, preseason Player of the Year. She has all these expectations and accolades that come along with who she is. And I think the maturity part is what I've been really impressed by, and her leading, her leadership with this team. And like you mentioned, we have almost like a brand new team. We have that core of KK Bransford coming back from injury and Cassandre Prosper, but I've added a lot of new faces that can help the entire team and help Hannah. So look, I've been excited about our new additions, but really impressed with the way that Hannah has really led this offseason and preseason.
Well, if you picked one thing, and maybe it's what you just talked about a little bit there, but like so many great things about her game. Is there, if you could pick one thing, is there one thing you think that makes her so special?
I think her competitiveness. She when she steps on the court, she has no fear. It does not matter who she's playing. It doesn't matter what the stakes are, the stage. She just has this fire and competitiveness. She has an incredible high level of confidence. She plays at an elite level every time she steps on the floor. So if it's practice, she's always going to give you her, more than 100%. And when she steps on the court, it's just like it's us against the world. And I love that she plays with a chip on her shoulder, but I just love her competitiveness and her confidence and how she shows up the same way every day.
You touched on that group of transfers that you brought in from the transfer portal, and there were 6 new players in all that you brought in, and we'll talk about KK and Cassandre here in just a minute as well. But when you look at that, when you were looking for players from the portal, besides just the obvious stuff on court, what they brought to the
Right.
game, whether they were forward or guard or shooting or whatever, like
Right.
were there maybe some particular things that you were really looking for in the kind of player that you were going to bring in here?
Yeah, I mean, I knew I needed some depth in the forward position, so I thought Gisela and Malaya could kind of fulfill the spaces that we needed, and then Vanessa, another great ball handler, 3-level scorer. I loved her experience. I felt like playing against her in the ACC, very solid, very steady, and she's proved me right. She is a hard worker. She's so competitive, so smart, incredible high IQ. One of the hardest workers on our team. She's been an incredible addition. And I knew I wanted somebody that can help. Sometimes she might run the point or she could be the 2 guard and have Hannah off the ball. I thought she would be a great addition with that. And then bringing in, Kelly Radigan, somebody that's culture kid, somebody from Notre Dame,
Right.
somebody that's a 3-level scorer. I've watched in high school here. So I thought that was an incredible addition. And then bringing in a sharpshooter like Ayanna Moore. She's, shooting over 35%, 36% from the three, having somebody that can stretch the floor. And also with her experience being in the SEC, I thought all the pieces fit. And culture-wise, amazing. They stepped on campus. I'm like, oh my gosh, it was just a perfect fit in all aspects. And I'm looking for more than just talent. I'm looking for character. And I
Sure.
felt like they all checked the boxes with that.
Have any of them surprised you to the extent of like, well, I knew she could do this, but man, it turns out she can also do this, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think Giselle is one for me. She's playing a different position for us a little bit. She's playing a little bit she's playing the 5 a little bit. Sometimes she's playing the 4, and she's just growing her game. And she could be the 3. And I've seen her just get better every practice, and it's been awesome to see her development. With pace and just learning the system and just having that Euro flair that she has. She's got a great 3-point shot. She's had a really great preseason, I guess you can say, in practice. So I've been very impressed by her.
Well, and she's one of those front court players. Obviously, she and Malaya Coles, and of course, Leah Macy still trying to come back from that injury that she had in high school. So How do you kind of approach that front court? Because that is obviously, from the numbers standpoint, that's where it's a little bit thinner going into the season.
Yeah, I mean, just for her is just I'm honestly having a lot of versatility, even with Cass. Cass and KK have helped out, having a little bit of versatility with that. Just trying to stay healthy, to be honest. And and everyone is just playing whatever role they need to play.
Sure.
We want to win, and we want to get better every day. And I've been putting, most of our team in different positions, and knowing that our offense is very fluid. So it's positionless. There's a lot of times we could be at the pinch elbow, or they could be on the perimeter, and just making them comfortable in different positions is what we're doing. And they've been doing really well with adjusting to the different style of play.
Well, and I mean, Cass is obviously, she's technically a guard. She's listed as a guard, but she's also 6'3". And so like
Yes.
when you look at her, is she someone who could literally play, like any position for you maybe this year?
Honestly, she really is, and we've really worked on that. Also, KK just having that versatility reminds me a little bit with Jackie Young. Back in the day when Jackie played multiple positions, Jackie could have
Right.
played. She could play the one all the way through the four. So feel the same way with Cass, and KK playing multiple positions and just being comfortable being in different spots within our offense.
What do you think you've learned? You've been practicing for a few weeks now. What do you think you've learned the most about your team in that time?
I've learned a lot, and it's been great because I feel like every day is something new because, I'm still learning, at the last several weeks is learning new things about our team, but very consistent with the way they work. I think that's number one for me. They come in every day with that hunger and the desire to get better every day. Their pace, and their effort has been fantastic. So that what I've learned is like they are business, business first. They want to get better every day, and they've really shown me just a different level of effort, and it's been really exciting to be around.
I mean, conditioning, running the floor, those things are always big for Niele Ivey
Yeah,
teams. Like, does this team, kind of need to have those track legs even a little bit more this year?
absolutely. Defensively, we're trying to be scrappy, try to impact the ball, be disruptive, but offensively, they're really just trying to push pace as much as we can. There are times when Cass and KK, being on the floor at the same time with their athleticism, with their size, and again being positionless, just trying to really put pressure on the offense, either off the bounce or kick aheads in transition, and then defensively just trying to be very disruptive.
And mentioned Leah Macy, and obviously, again, knee injury last year. It's been what, maybe 8-ish months, I guess, at this point. And I talked to her a few weeks back, kind of right around the time that school was starting. It sounds like her recovery is going well.
Mm-hmm.
Are you kind of in that middle ground, wait and see in terms of what might actually happen this year?
A little bit. I kind of rely on, Leah, her comfort level, and our performance team. So she's doing a great job. But again, she had her injury and had surgery in the middle of February. And,
Yeah.
I've come off of 2 ACLs. So I look at more long term for her. And, she's just kind of doing exactly what she needs to do. She's progressing really well. So yeah, so just kind of playing it by ear for her. But again, she's not, she's a couple months from even surgery. Her surgery was in February.
Yeah.
So, but I'm just proud of the way that she's working. I know it's hard, being on the side. She's had many gains and has had incredible strides in the last couple months, and just wanting her to focus on having confidence and focus on getting healthy.
What do you think? You mentioned KK Bransford a couple times. What do you think is going to be the biggest difference we see in KK after she missed all of last year?
Yeah, I mean, the experience, she has a very high IQ. So she's had a chance to play with some of our best teams and been a part of the ACC championship that we brought home. And so she knows what to expect. And I think, consistency for her role is going to be massive. And just being able to utilize her experience, she's in incredible shape. She's confident. She's really worked on her game. And I'm just excited for her. Sitting out is always really hard. And I know she has that hunger to be back on the floor. She's done a great job of leading. She's been phenomenal. Just again, somebody that has been in my system for multiple years and knows the culture, the history and tradition of Notre Dame, and she's just been a prime example of that.
I've been putting together, some of my information, some of the teams you're going to play in early November and that kind of stuff. Akron is an interesting one for a couple of different reasons. Not only do you have KK's sister,
Yes.
Kaylee, on that
Yes.
roster, But there is also a player named Kieran McGuff, who, of course, for anyone who's been painting, it's might have to go back a little bit, but Kieran McGuff, of course, is the daughter of Kevin and Letitia McGuff, who were both on staff at different points in your playing career.
Yes.
Back in the day. That's got to be fun to see Kieran on that roster.
It is. Actually, Tish called me today, which is so funny.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Just really excited again. I was trying to have a special game, either bringing KK home to Cincinnati and, her sister, being a freshman at Akron, we thought this is a perfect opportunity for her family to be able to see both of their kids who are thriving and playing on the collegiate level, which is, I think, just amazing. So kind of amazing story. And then, the McGuff family, and I've known them since I was a player, like you mentioned, and Tish is one of my best friends. And, Kevin was somebody that coached me as a player. So having their daughter play against us back at, Tish's alma mater, it's just gonna be a really fun kind of family environment. Her family has supported me throughout my playing career, my coaching career. So for her, aunts and cousins and uncles and her family, her mom, I'm sure her dad won't be able to make it, but her mom is going to be able to make that game. It's going to be a super special moment.
Right. And of course, Kevin is the head coach at Ohio State.
Yes.
So he's probably going to have some other duties that night. Yeah, that's exactly right. Fans are going to have to kind of pay attention to who's wearing what uniform, though, because KK and Kaylee, I've seen Kaylee in the stands a few times. They look a lot alike. So
they look a lot alike, making sure my team doesn't pass to her. So
that's right.
They're very similar. They almost look like twins.
That's right. I wanted to ask you before we wrap up, because these last couple weeks with all the Notre Dame USC football stuff going on and the talk about whether or not the rivalry might end and that kind of stuff. Of course, UConn is, one of your two biggest rivals, if not the biggest rival, in terms of women's basketball. It goes back to the Big East days, but you've been able to keep that rivalry going. Why is it so important for you to keep that Notre Dame UConn series going?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just important for women's basketball in general. I think when you think of big rivalries, especially in the last decade, the last 12 years, 15 years, it's been that Notre Dame UConn matchup in the Big East before we came over to the ACC. I just think it's important for the growth of the game. It's some of the best matchups that we've had in our history, and some of their All-Americans and our All-Americans. It's just been an incredible rivalry. It's been so dynamic in the way that those matchups have been. Obviously, two legendary coaches in Muffet McGraw and Gino, two of the most successful coaches in our game. So I just always wanted to honor that tradition. And luckily that, Gino feels the same way. Like I said, I just think it's great for the game. I think it's some of the highest ratings that we get is that game on television. So
for sure,
bringing in that support and eyes on women's basketball at the highest level, I think is really important to continue growing our game. Obviously, it's an extremely hard matchup, but no, I think it's best to help grow the game. And I know our both fan bases love it. Those games are always sold out, and it's super powerful. So I'm excited to continue that rivalry.
Has everyone both sides, have they always been really committed to it? Has there ever been a time where you thought, it might go away for a little bit?
Well, since I've sat in this chair, it's been, we've both Notre Dame and UConn, we've both seen eye to eye as far as keeping that tradition and keeping that schedule, keeping that matchup going. And I think we just signed on a new contract for the next 3 years or 3 to 4 years. So we're just trying to always try to keep that matchup going. Again, I just think it's great to have that matchup and to have two of the most, powerhouses in women's basketball to continue competing against each other.
And just like in your last year at Notre Dame, the first championship season, 2001, this year's game is on MLK Day again this season. So that'll be fun. Of course, it'll be out there at stores, so that'll be a little different. So, but always great to see Notre Dame and UConn, of course. All right. Well, again, exhibition opener for Notre Dame, the only exhibition game a week from today, October 30th, when the Fighting Irish host Purdue Northwest, and then the regular season opens November 5th against Fairleigh Dickinson. And of course, you hear all the games on the Notre Dame Radio Network. Niele Ivey, thanks as always, and I will see you soon.
Appreciate it. See you soon.
All right.